These are some of the tools and services that we provide to our federation members, such as of course the website that provide basic information. Currently, we are revamping our website, but so we are busy with deployment, so we haven't got time yet to continue the development of our new website, but it's coming up soon. So we have a federation registry tools based on Jaeger, and of course sign metadata, and we have support desk. At the moment we haven't yeah, metadata signer, yeah, using PIF. Okay, previously we were using XML sec tool, but it's a long time ago. Once we migrate to PIF. One of the reason because we are changing our infra from VM based into a Kubernetes, cloud native based Kubernetes, and it doesn't work well with the USB token. So that's why we changed to PIF. And also we would like to do some more filtering and so on.
So OpenHSM you use
no, not OpenHSM. The key, the physical key. I think I still bought my Nitro key.
You're saying you don't use a key anymore?
I'm not using the hardware token anymore. Yeah. The SHM, yes.
Just key on disk.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you say OpenHSM, I think that one is the software-based SHM, yeah. But ours last time is the hardware one.
The previous one.
Yeah. I think I demonstrate during the APAN at Auckland. Nitro key. Yeah, German one. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the company.
Nitro key, yes. So, but we're still using it to back up our signing key.
Okay.
All right. So, where were we? Okay. So we don't have a email ticketing system yet. So at the moment, we just manually manage through email. So and then we used to have knowledge base sort of like a wiki, but now we would like to migrate it. Combine it with the new website. And we have Federation Discovery Services based on Switch YF. And we do have virtual home IDP for users without a home organization. But we a bit selective who can be onboarded into this virtual home IDP. The reason why, because we encourage the institution to set up their own IDP instead. Okay, so and then we also provide IDP as a service, EDROM IDP as a service, and also Federation utilization reporting. So for who are our members? So for the IDP members, particularly is the universities, technical and further education institution, vocational training institution, and among others. Currently, we are targeting some new institutions such as K-12 or lower education, and also some government agencies. Okay. But I think our policy not include this one. So we may need to revise our federation policy. Yes.
Do you have a get out of jail free card in your federation policy where applications for members go to a board or committee for referral? Because if your policy says that, and I think the template has that, if you refer it on to someone else to make a final decision on whether someone's applicable for a member, then you don't need to update your federation policy.
No, the problem is, if I'm mistaken, because it's about like we wrote it like 2000 back to 2014 or 15, I couldn't remember specifically, but it states that research and education institutions. I think what I remember that one, but for example, I think a few years ago, there was government agencies that the space agency that look after the space technology. So they interested to join Sifulan at the time.
Okay. That's certainly research, right?
Yeah, that's what example, but it could be like from Ministry of Forestry. It's the ministry itself would like to join and so on. I think last time there were also inquiry from the Ministry of Health, because they have a hospital and so on that would like to have like common subscription, consolidated library subscription. And we had previous time pilot test with the National Library. So means they can set up IDP and use Sifulan for remote access. Okay, so that's why we may need to relook again and try to make it more umbrella policy for that. And then some activities overview for the past 6 months since the last APAN meetings. So we basically work on the IPv6 support. So I'd like to thank you, Andre, for inviting me into his IPv6 workshop. So it's not scary anymore because in the past I tried to avoid IPv6, just too scared. But now actually it's not that scary as before. Okay, so and also the involvement in the iFire-XMEN project, and also connecting all the polytechnic and community colleges to Identity Federation and EDUROM by using Sifulan EID. Okay, so for the IPv6 support, we have enabled IPv6 support in our federation infrastructure. And most of the services or servers are using dual stack IPv4 v6 implementation. However, due to earlier networking setup on our Kubernetes cluster, we cannot set up dual stack IPv4, IPv6 on our Kubernetes cluster. Because if we would like to do dual stack, we have to restart again the setup from the beginning. Yeah, so I'm not sure whether it's because of range RKE limitation, or is it because of the Kubernetes itself? You have to plan from the beginning. I don't know. So we are trying to, try to test some scenario how we can migrate our Kubernetes cluster from single stack to dual stack safely. Okay, so instead we implemented a NAT64 for our Kubernetes cluster. So we set one node as the NAT64 translator that will bridge the IPv6 world and the IPv4 world in. So at the moment we just use this and it works very well. And then for the iFire-XMEN project, so we had conducted 2 technical workshops, one at APAN55 at Singapore and the current one at APAN55. So at APAN54, we were focusing on setting up Federation core infrastructure and Shibboleth IDP as a service, while in this conference, we more focus on the IDP, EDUROM IDP as a service. And the training material available at our GitHub page. Okay, you can just find for iFire-XMEN training repository. And also Terry has made the video of it. Of course, this is a bit difficult to remember, but if you open YouTube, you can type iFire-XMEN Australian Access Federation, then you can find the playlist, okay, for this tutorial. Yeah, all right, thank you. Okay, and then the last activities is connecting all the polytechnic and community colleges. So we connected 140 polytechnics and community colleges to Sifulan Federation and also EDUROM. So this project was conducted kick off October last year and completed by November. So it took 1 month to connect all. Okay, so since each institution subscribed to, so this is the thing, in Malaysia, the polytechnic and community colleges, so they don't have, some has a good IT support, okay, but some are not, okay. The are not means that they do have a Wi-Fi, they are connected to myREN actually, at least 100 Mbps, at least. So, however, some has a dedicated IT staff or IT officer that look after the infra, but some, they don't have one. They just assign one of the lecturer and given responsibility to look after. So basically, this not a homogeneous situation over there. So when we design how we're going to do this is we try to make it sort of like a centralized, so manage centrally, so that is easier to support those who doesn't have dedicated IT staff. And because when we would like to implement EduROM or identity federation, the most important component is the user database or directory services. Okay, so since each institution subscribe to Azure Active Directory because of the Ministry of Higher Education subscribe Office 365 for all the education institution under the public education institution. So we just make use of it, okay? Because when you subscribe to Office 365, automatically you get the, of course, higher tier. I don't remember which tier, but it's not the free tier one. I mean, slightly more premium of Azure AD. And Azure AD is very powerful tools, okay? And then also it's running on the cloud. So it means we don't need to worry about the infra. So we use proxy mode of Sifulan EID and connect to their Azure AD directory. Okay, so there are several major benefits. So they don't have to do user migration, means we don't have to, because sometimes when we, for example, there's one university looking out for our service to implement end-to-end IDMS at their system. So we need to do like a migration from the master database into the Open LDAP server and so on. So in this case, they don't need to do anything. Just continue with their Office 365. Okay, so we don't need to do user migration. And we can make use of advanced security features of Azure AD, such as multi-factor authentication. Azure AD support them. Okay, even you want to do passwordless, post, the OTP, SMS, or whatever it is, you can do so. Okay, and since it's a cloud service, so the high availability is guaranteed. Okay, so this is the benefit. Of course, you need to have a good internet. So at Polytechnic and community colleges, they have connected to RAN, at least 100 Mbps is more than enough, okay, to support. And somehow the
how big are these colleges? You're saying so you're saying a minimum of 100. So
sometimes it's only like a 30-40 students.
Right.
Yeah,
so
it's usually at the remote area.
3 megabits a second per student is actually
yeah.
a lot of bandwidth.
Yes. But of course, there's a bigger one that has like 800, a bigger one. Yeah. I think the biggest for myREN 10 or 1, I don't remember. But it varies depending on the size of the institution, but at least 100. Okay, so for the EduROM, we use the get EduROM plus EduROM cat plus let Wi-Fi C8, basically the one that I demonstrated or showed to you on Monday. Yeah. Okay, so for each institution, basically this is the architecture. So there's a cloud identity service, which is Azure AD. And then it may connect to the enterprise cloud apps like Office 365 is the cloud apps. Okay, so if they are having like, because some they have what call it AD installation and they do synchronization, feel free to do so. Okay, so actually we don't dictate how do you populate the user at Azure AD. It's up to them, either manually sync with the local.
Because they already did that.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't care about that. Okay, so and then if they want to integrate with internal application, please do so, continue to do so, because there's no problem with that. And if they would like to access research and education resources or EduGain, then it will go through Sifulan EID here. Okay, so this is like the bridge. and then go to the Sifulan Federation, then goes to EduROM, EduGain, or direct to the application. Okay, so for the user, actually they will only see Azure AD login page, and they even don't know the existence of this. They don't realize the existence of this. Okay, so this is for each institution, so just time 140. Okay, so for the EduROM, basically as shown on Monday, so for the user, they need to install the Get EduROM apps. So, and then visit using the EduROM app, they select the institution, then it will go to the EduROM cat and redirect them to the Let's Wi-Fi portal. Then they need to do authentication. When authenticated, the credential will be issued to Get EduROM apps, and the Get EduROM app will configure the device to connect to the EduROM. Okay. So overall, this is the overall architecture of the new. After we add in the infra, after we add in, actually there's another one, EduVPN, but we haven't planned yet how we want to set up the EduVPN. Maybe not all institutions would have EduVPN, or maybe they have one central to access internal apps for additional security. Okay, so this is the architecture look like. So all the polytechnic and also the community colleges, they do have EduROM, Sifulan Federation, and also EduROM. Then from here, they can access the Research and Education Network or my government network, or just, that's one is just internet, I think. Okay, this is for the network. And then for the international, they are supported by the Asia Connect uplink. And also there are some, actually like Myran, they have direct peer connection to Google. Okay, so, and they are working to have direct peering to Azure or Microsoft as well. For Google, it's easy because they router or switch on the same floor with Google. Basically, just a pulling cable fiber from one rack to another rack. But Microsoft is another building. So they're figuring, okay, who want to pay for the pulling cable to the that side? So that's the situation. Okay, so and then from here you can connect to the application like learning management system, Moodle, Koha, some network, local research. Sometimes Myran also have federated services and also the library and so on. So this is the new architecture for polytechnic and community colleges after we add Sifulan, EduVPN, and EduROM into their infra. Okay, in fact, better than public university. But all right, so thank you very much. That's the update from Malaysia.
My own question, you talk about support desk, and it's currently email only based.
At the moment, yes.
Have you looked at any particular tools?
Yeah, we're looking for what OS ticket or something. What? OS ticket. The only thing that I don't like from ticket, sometimes from the at least OS ticket, is that we need to log in to the portal to see the ticket. Sometimes we are quite lazy to do so. We love our email client. So if everything can be just done through the web client, email client, that would be great. I mean, in my previous university, we use Open Ticket, so I don't like it.
This tool, this OS ticket.
OS ticket. Yeah.
Oh, I've just found it.
I think that one is made in Australia because the logo is kangaroo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which tool are you using at AF?
We're using Freshdesk.
Freshdesk. Oh, okay. That's commercial one. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, request tracker is good.
Oh,
You
okay.
like Perl?
No, not Perl.
Okay, that's the problem with
I had a nightmare when have to support Koha.
Yeah, but then if you're supporting Koha, request tracker also has a module for.
No, I want to have a nice dream, not longer nightmare.
You should look at it because it's got. What I love about request tracker is it's got a scripting interface, so you can write a lot of business logic for managing your tickets, changing priorities depending on different clients, and auto response.
Yeah.
and it's basically it's got a pretty good web interface.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's good to have ticketing system, but at the moment, sometimes the university just like to contact us through Telegram group.
oh, so you need
Yeah, just create a group.
And I think like if you've got fresh desk or Zendesk, you can bring in all of those other weird fora, right? You can do have a messenger based.
Oh, you could do that. It just shows how the simple support at AF, it's still a fresh desk. We jump into there.
Yeah,
Because some have.
yeah. At the moment, we're a bit short-handed to look after this our internal support system. Yeah, exactly.
Question for you.
Yep.
Are you collecting FTX forms or anything?
Yes,
like that?
we do.
Reporting on them anyway?
Yeah, we do. We do collecting.
Is that part of your infrastructure?
Yes, part for the usage statistic. We do.
And this Office 365, how government is subscribing like A3 plan, which one?
I don't know exactly which plan. Which M3, M5, I don't know. But I know
A1
they do have.
Office 365, A1, A2, A3 is there. A3 is the paid one. A1 is free.
But I know that government paid some money to Microsoft for that. So specifically, okay, this is the thing. If you would like to use Azure AD, even the free version of AD, I'm not talking about 365, okay? Well, I know that some people associated 365 is with Azure AD. Actually, they are not. It's just 365 is just the application. It make use Azure AD to provide authentication to use the application. But for simplicity, sometimes okay, just log in using your 365. But it's not really correct to say that. They just say log in using Azure AD account. That's the more correct one. So even the free one, you can use that. But there are some features, like for example, so from the Azure AD point of view, this Shibboleth bridge, the proxy, is like an application. Okay, so you need to give a permission to your user to use the application, right? So if the free one, you have to add the user or allow the user manually one by one. The premium one, you can base on group. So it saves more time. Even you can set rules. If there's a new users with this realm, automatically include in this group, and this group automatically can access this application.
In India, we are a government organization. We cannot directly recommend the institution to go for Azure or Office.
Yeah.
So in such cases, Azure AD without registration, whether they can enable, because
what registration?
For example, one of the new university.
Okay.
They don't have any authentication system.
Okay. So but do they have Office 365?
No, they don't have anything.
They don't have anything. Okay.
So they are approaching us.
Okay.
By default, we are recommending them to set up OpenLM.
Okay.
And we do help them to set up. And we
okay. So means on-prem solution.
On-prem.
Yep.
So what I asked my senior that we can recommend Office 365. Says no, we cannot recommend any semi-proprietary software there. Even we recommend also, there is a lengthy process of registration. That they need to prove that they are from academic institution. For that they need to supply their PAN card or and whether it is that's what the 140 institutions. Because before you get into this setup of IDP.
Oh, they already have. So I'm not sure how the account, the subscription was distributed to the university. I mean, but there's no. It's not every day a new university or college is established, right? Maybe once every 2 years, 5 years. I don't know. Okay, it takes time. So how it's distributed, I don't know. But what I know, they already have it. Just use it. Okay. So if let's say tomorrow there's a new polytechnic or colleges established, so Then I just tell them, okay, so, and then they need to connect. Okay, so we need the Azure AD. Okay, so I think in the minister there's like a super admin for the Office 365. Then we'll create a new tenant for that institution. And then after that we can connect.
That is the reason when you are setting up
Kubernetes, okay.
Very 2 GB, 1.5 GB RAM.
Yep, yeah, you can.
Because
Yeah, we use MDQ on demand.
not only MDQ, that you are not storing any of the like LDAP query, nothing is happening.
No, there is no.
That is one of the benefit.
Yeah, benefit. It's lower. So far, what we see is with most of the time the memory utilization per IDP proxy is about 1.2, 1.3 gig. The biggest one was 1.5. Compare with if you consume all, I think now minimum what 5-6 GB.
But we recommend each and every institution minimum of setting up 6 GB RAM.
For now. Another 2 years we don't know. Wait until our friend from Indonesia, I think 2000, and then embed the logo in the metadata. No, there was a hoo-ha before whether we should include the institution logo into the metadata or just the link.
And the Swiss embed the logos, right?
Initially, we were embedding our logo into the metadata, but after that, we stopped doing that. Just the link. Yes, sir.
I have a simple question about ADROM
Okay.
activity in Malaysia.
Okay.
So you mentioned that Supram provide ADROM
IDP as a service. Yeah.
So do you have any support for ADROM SP?
Okay.
For example, building access point and
Yeah, we do. We do. Because usually when we say IDP here, IDP/SP is together, usually together. But there are some operator only providing ADROM SP. Okay, so usually, but not many. I think about 2 or 3. Majority is IDP and SP. Majority 2 together. So of course our software can be done. It's just adding into the client, then it become IDP and SP. So for the SP, yes, we provide assistance as well. But usually for the SP, we make it slightly easier to log in. It's just direct radius to our infra NRO. Like for example, in the Ministry of Higher Education building, there's a EduRoam, but only SP. They don't have IDP in the building. And there's one mosque actually in Terengganu. They provide EduRoam, but only SP. But they affiliated with one of the university, so they have the uplink from the university.
Eventually, the IAF will have EduRoam in its office space.
Yeah.
We use the hosted EduRoam IDP Europe.
Oh yeah, EduRoam Cat.
No, we hosted EduRoam.
Yeah.
Maximum 200 users.
Yeah, it's part of the EduRoam Cat. From the EduRoam Cat, you can create SP as hosted SP or hosted IDP. You can add manually up to 200 users.
Source certificate based as well.
Yeah, okay.
Is the integration of those services seamless, and do we need to replicate any of those in Asia Pac? Is there an advantage?
So whatever material tools that we put in the iFire training, actually that's the same, not 100% the same, probably 95% the same with the building blocks that we use to implement. Yeah, you can replicate in your country if you want.
Do you provide any guideline to universities for
Oh yeah, we do.
users?
We do.
Maintain these type of attributes in your Azure ID?
Okay, so we do give because for the Polytechnic and Community College case, it was centralized. Okay, so and the nice thing of Azure AD, all standard. Okay, of course, we haven't seen in more detail yet. Is there any like using phone number field for identity number? We haven't seen that yet, up to that level. Okay, so but what we tell the institution, okay, we're going to use the system. Make sure you keep the your directory as clean as possible. Means the person who's supposed to be there, keep it there, and not supposed to be there, remove it or put on different group. Okay, so that we can assign them to with right affiliation, like a visitor or something. Not visitor. There is one, right, in EduPerson scope affiliation.
Like a library walking.
Yeah, something like that. But there is a one more, not visitor. I forgot. There's a one or others or something. There's a from the affiliate. Yes, I mean sort of like unknown. Okay, so make sure they follow that, which is pretty easy for them. Okay, and then we also from this exercise we discover that there are some community colleges. They only provide 365 account only to the staff, while the license is sort of like unlimited. I mean, also for the student. So basically, they just let the student using Gmail or something. They say, why you do so? Just use it. It's already paid, right? So now they start providing 365 and also email to the student. Otherwise, the student won't able to access all of this. Something else. So basically, make use all the investment that they have made. Take all the value. Okay. Don't let Microsoft take the money easily. Okay.
Hopefully we'll have Terry now do a shorter version of his update that will... Okay. Is that my...
That's my badge. That's forgotten. Okay.
Yes. Oh, where the...
There you go. Okay, good. Okay, slideshow. Oh, crikey. All right, Australian Access Federation, APAN 55 update. Off we go. No, we don't. We've got our Rapid IDP, which is a hosted IDP solution. It's a platform architecture. It's built in AWS. It's using Shibboleth, but it's got a whole management interface around it. So we don't actually do much with actual Shibboleth configuration anymore for these guys. It's all built into the system, and we have this UI that does all the magic. It does have advantages, but also has some disadvantages, in that if we find something that needs a bit of tricky configuration, we can't actually do it unless we talk to our developers, which is a bit painful. We've got 3 modes: LDAP, so it can talk off to an LDAP server for universities that are still running those. Virtual mode, where the users are actually, we manage the users within the system, so we have a database of users. That's for small organizations. And our enterprise identity solution, where we can plug into Azure, Okta, F5, some other SAML identity provider. Each of those are different. They're all got their own quirks, those the enterprise IDPs. Azure seems to be about the best for completeness, which is sad. Key features: designed for high availability, so it's got auto scaling, all that sort of magic. Deployment review system, so it stops deploying a new version of something if the configuration is broken. Auto scales, load balanced, security stuff. It's dedicated VM per customer. I think we're going to move that away once we start moving into Kubernetes. So it'll be more a pod-based thing. At the moment, it's a dedicated VM. It's utilising some of the AWS capabilities, WAF and DDoS protection, all that sort of magic. And I think we are continually ramping up that protection around the IDP. I think Brooke said on Monday that if everything's coming to the same point, that's the one point you've got to put your guards around, your fences around, your barbed wire around, put all your effort in making that one access point as secure as possible, because everyone's coming in and out that one point. You haven't got 50 different access points that people can come in and try and hack. We're trying for zero downtime, migration rollback, and updates. And so we've got a very attractive, pretty UI, but that doesn't really matter if you're using a proxy thing because you'll never really see the UI. Over half our customers are signed up for it. Boring. We've got our Verifit thing, which we spoke about yesterday. This is for companies that only want to know if you're a student or a staff person in a privacy-preserving way. I think we had a good discussion about this yesterday. It's an affiliation verification service, basically. It's got proven technology and a commercial model we have in place. We did 4.75 million verifications last year, multiply that by 25 cents, and that's how much money we make out of this thing, less all the cost of running this stuff, which isn't that much. You can tell us how much it is later, Brooke. Federation should implement an affiliation verification service. It's just another way that you're giving value back to your universities by making student life a better thing, basically. We had a discussion with Raji last night that his particular federation doesn't work that way. It's government funded. They're not interested in any additional income or supporting anything bar the libraries. So it might not work in your situation, but if you're interested in an additional income source, then it's an opportunity.
It's just shy of 1.2 million Aussie, right? It's 25 cents.
I think it's 25 cents, but yeah, it's about that. I think we charge less for, or the UK Federation has an option and we just take a cut of their cut as well. So
does that include the UK verifications? Or
I'm not sure. It's just community engagement, and I spoke about this yesterday, about engaging with your community. We have a lot of activities. We have our health check program where we actually go and talk to IDP admins and see how they're going. They continue to running all the good stuff. We've got an NCRIS trust and identity capability that we've only just put on board recently. We continue to talk to. We talk to the Australian Higher Education Cybersecurity Services. So we've got someone on that committee or group. With the ORCID Consortium lead, we have chats in the lounges, we have coffee break videos, we have focus groups for feedback, all sorts of mechanisms to understand what our customers want when using the Federation. Internationally, we have a member on the ReFed Steering Committee. I'm currently the chair of the, I'm on the Schema Board myself. I'm the EduGain Steering Committee chair. Myself and our technical lead are on the EduGain Security Working Group. That's a very quiet one, which is good. I do the APAN stuff, because I enjoy meeting you guys. We have our ORCID Membership and Fee Committee, which we have we run, and the ORCID APAC Consortium Interest Group. And recently, our CEO became a member of the ORCID board. So we're out there doing the thing globally, engaging with as many folk as we can, both locally and globally. And Powell said that yesterday, you really need to engage with your community and globally out to the world and get involved with these groups. And it's easy, you can go to the level we do, which is pretty insane, or you can just watch what's happening and provide feedback and your opinion on various activities that are happening in various working groups. Technology improvements. We've redone our status or our monitoring solution using some third-party tool to just ping our services. It's not the greatest check, but at least it gives us some notification that IDPs or services are having grief, or some of our internal tools are having issues. Our internal tools that we run ourselves, we have a lot more monitoring. We use some AWS stuff to do some monitoring, and we've got this Canary thing which actually does an accurate ping to check that something's actually running properly. And that's always improving. We got our new world order infrastructure. A few years ago, we had our old world, which was all Java stuff, our old Federation registry tool. The guys came up with this new world order, which was to move it to AWS and EC2 instances. Our new world order is now moving all that stuff into a Kubernetes infrastructure sitting under on top of AWS. Once we're in that space, it's then easier to pick all that stuff up and move it to some other infrastructure if AWS gets too expensive or whatever. So it gives us more options.
All the spare infrastructure from CloudStorm.
Yeah.
Might be going cheap.
So it's containerized, it's cloud native approach, the sort of stuff that Farhan's been doing here. We're also rebuilding our core tooling, so our Federation Manager is being rebuilt at the moment. Rapid Connect is being merged into Federation Manager. That's just one of our proxies. That's actually occurred. We've got our validator service, which is going to be redone. Federation Management and Salesforce integration. So we use Salesforce to maintain information about our customers. That's an expensive hobby as well. A spreadsheet would do just as fine. But our COO just wanted to have more accessibility to contact information and to do all that sort of other customer management stuff. And various rapid IDP features and improvements are continuing to happening. More improvements, reporting and business intelligence. We've started collecting information about people's logins and are now putting together a reporting solution that will report on the utilisation and various charts and graphs of what's been happening in the Federation. That's all pretty exciting. We'll have various dashboards for our users. We now have a user interface for our proxy solution. Previously, we had nothing. They just have to send us a ticket saying we want to add this service, and we'd do a bit of backwards and forwards between them to get the information we needed. Now they can do it all self-service to add OIDC services and JSON Web Token services to the Federation. We're looking at adding a SAML to SAML proxy for services that only talk to a single IDP, and you'll be amazed how many there are out there that only know how to talk to a single IDP. So putting up a SAML to SAML proxy, I've been wanting that for ages. ORCID, we run the ORCID consortium, so we collect all the money for people to participate in ORCID in Australia, and we also support ORCID. And in supporting it, we let people access the ORCID member portal. It's got an affiliation manager, so if somebody adds somebody to the ORCID portal, their ORCID record is updated with that record, and it's based on the organisation doing it, not the user doing it themselves. It's got a member reporting dashboard. We did a PIDS, a persistent identifiers cost-benefit analysis for Australia, and it was found to be really beneficial to do some work in the PIDS area. That report's actually on our website. We'll probably dig into that next time we're together at APAN. Because understanding PIDS and how to use PIDS in an effective way within research is very beneficial, and you'll see some significant savings if you're doing it properly. Growth in the grant applications with linked ORCID records. So ORCID is making it easier for people to get grants. There's less information they have to provide every time. They just whack in their ORCID record, and the grant application system gets a lot of the information from ORCID rather than having to use it, repeat it over and over. ARC funded projects with ORCID participants, so the numbers have been growing with the ORCID. It makes life easier. So here's Dr. Joe Shapta. He's got some user stories. The integration of ORCID saves 3 to 4 days per grant application. The difference in workload is staggering. So our researchers are really finding this of value to them. They're saving 3 or 4 days. That's 3 or 4 days more they've got to do research rather than just filling in application forms. What's critical, my ARC record is getting updated, which is mountainous saving of work for me and helps me keep my CV easily up to date. So this stuff is actually helping our researchers do their research stuff, and we're getting that sort of feedback. Some projects were underway, Australian Biocommons, human genomics platform, so it's a data sharing thing, threatened species initiative demonstrator, so coordinated access for data research and environment, so the Cadre project, so another research data platform, the 5 Safes framework, and improve identity insurance and authorization, authentication. So these ones were actually projects where we're not just doing authentication, but we're also enhancing identity assurance. So the service actually knows better that the person is who they say they are. We're also doing multi-factor authentication in this stuff, and we're using CI login to do most of this work for us. And we're becoming a reseller for CI login in Australia. Still working through the paperwork on that, but I think it's very close to being done, or may already have been done. Links to data. So it's all about giving access to the right people, to the right data sets at the right time. Not just opening up the doors to everybody, to everything. And it's not just Biocommons, we're also doing stuff with the Language Data Commons Australia. So it's the humanities are getting involved in this stuff. Sharing written and spoken languages, samples of research. Indigenous languages, and I think Brooke mentioned some of this yesterday about the difficulties with Indigenous languages and who can access stuff. There's the women's stuff, the male stuff, and you need to make sure that they're only visible to the right communities. Digital ID strategy positioning, trusted identity framework. So this is the TDIF project that we're doing. This is the actual framework stuff. Timelines and that. So we started this stuff back in 2016. We put up a roadmap and basically spent 3 years promoting that. We developed a strategy. We released a strategy. We had some expert working groups. Last year we had our National Research Infrastructure Roadmap come out. And this year we're now part of the NCRIS, or the government funded bodies of research. So we're part of that. And we can now dip into some of the $500 million worth of funding that's being made available for the next 5 years to fund all that stuff. We're having to go out and say, please, sir, can we have some money from all of the groups who are in there? We're now part of that group. We can even go to their meetings. Actually, what do we got? Yeah, funding approval for the projects. The good things, new skilled staff have improved the culture at the AIF. Multiple locations, so we're not just in one location, Brisbane, we're all across Australia now, apart from Sydney. Opportunities to travel and meet face-to-face again, which is great. It's great to meet you guys. Progress towards acceptance of the TNI and critical infrastructure stuff. Work that makes a difference, so we're actually seeing that. Some of the more mundane stuff, this is what I'm, that's more about the what we need to do to ensure this stuff happens, and that we're getting to roll out the ReFeds multi-factor authentication stuff to support things like the National Institute of Health, and I think, Raja, you did that last year with your guys, the NIF stuff. And other services will want that, and these TNI projects within Australia will want the MFA stuff to happen. We also need to work out what multi-factor is good enough, and from the guys at NIF, they're really wanting phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication. SMS is not really going to cut it for them. So,
Did you say NIF?
National Institute of Health. No, I wrote in
But the Australian or the US one?
US one, yeah. I met those guys in TechX last year, and they're very keen to have high strength multi-factor authentication. I've talked about that a bit. Trust and identity program. It's looking to enhance cybersecurity, enhance connectivity across the national research infrastructure, improve access to sensitive data, enhance research translation, sector-wide improvements, cybersecurity across the sector. So in Australia, last year we had a couple of major breaches. Optus, 9.8 million customers lost their personal information. ANU, leading university, had 200,000 student details stolen. Medibank, one of our medical things, 3.9 million customers lost personal data, including health records. They're all out in the dark web now. Mine's stuff's out there as well, but I don't care. So there's been some notable breaches, and we have rules in Australia. We have to actually notify everybody that the breach has occurred. The university my wife worked for had a ransomware attack over Christmas. It took them ages to fix up. So as a result of that, most of our universities are moving to multi-factor authentication for all their staff and students, for all services, including the Federation. The tasks at hand, REFED's multi-factor authentication, so we've got to roll that out to our 55 identity providers, of which half are on rapid IDP, which is easier because we control them. The other half are out on-prem, so they have to do some work themselves. Signaling REFED's MFA, because we're using upstream IDPs, we need to rely on what they're providing us. Microsoft Azure, we've actually got that one sorted because they provide us useful information back about the authentication that occurred. Okta provides just a single attribute saying MFA occurred, but we need to actually unpack that and get that back into SHIB land. I'm working on that. Google provides absolutely nothing at all. You can tell it to do multi-factor authentication. It says, yeah, okay. And just doesn't tell you that it did it or didn't do anything. It just happily continues. Ping Federate, you can tell it what to do, and you can configure it to respond with any context class reference. So that's okay. The other one's F5 Access, Open IAM, and Oracle Access Manager. These are some of the on-prem IDPs that we have. We still have to understand how they work with the multi-factor authentication signaling stuff. The assurance frameworks, we don't really need to do much apart from publish to tell people that they need to do the right stuff. We need to define what the right stuff is, and we'll be looking at what Pal and his team have done with their assurance frameworks. There's a bit of a starting point to give us a kick-off into that space. And this is about saying this person has provided some sort of credential to the university when they join, saying, here's my passport and my driver's license. This is really me when I join the university. And this is what we've started with, a bit of a process, onboarding journey for staff, students and so forth, that they can work through, and we'll be touring this around and more stuff as this grows out. I'm planning to do roadshows this year, going and visiting as many unis as I can. We'll be talking about how to improve our IDPs, looking at the baseline expectation stuff. Every IDP needs to be at the latest version. And all the REFED specification stuff, the anonymous, the pseudo-anonymous, the stuff that Pal was talking about yesterday, getting all that implemented across our IDPs in Australia to enhance access to services in Edugain, and also to add 2 new attributes to our supported attributes. Things which are the subject ID and the pairwise ID. And for the subject ID, we're looking at just using an opaque value rather than EPPN. And there's a koala.
That's it.
Further questions to Terry at the break. We're going to have Sotse from LearnNet come up now and give his update? I know we're pressed for time. We ran late and I bored you with wanting to get testimonials. But maybe we can eat into some of the
Well, we've got,
Federation issues after the break.
I don't think they'll take it full time, so we can,
Yep.
but,
So we could continue to do some updates. But we'll hopefully get Gakun in. Does anybody have a dongle for USB-C to HDMI? Thank you, Andrew. My only contribution to the Open ZFS process was doing exactly that at a meeting in Amsterdam.
Thank you. So good morning, everyone. This is the first time that I joined the I5 X-Men, but actually I used to join the back 5 for APANs already. So from that time, we didn't have EduRoam, but now, after back 5, we have EduRoam. Hopefully after this, we can have Federation. For those who don't know much about LearnNet, I would like to update a bit about LearnNet and then our EduRoam. Yes, my name is Sosai Sengwong from University of Laos, as well as LearnNet. Actually, LearnNet is one of the organizations under University of Laos. We are still an official organization, so other ministry don't recognize us as a unit yet. So that's what we are seeking for. Currently, this is statistic facts about us. We have 4 employees, which is part of our IT center. We have 3 members, and they won't pay a fee because the internet connection provided from Ministry of Education. We have attended more than 30 workshops over the years. These are 3 services that we are provided for our members: the internet connection, web hosting, and latest one, EduRoam. We have no federation, but we are seeking for. But based on what we sharing information within these workshops, is so helpful for us to at least point out the potentials of our country to establish our own federation. First thing, we have like our members starting using directory, but it's a basic. LMS is quite common in universities after the COVID, so people changing the way they learn, and organizations are aware of the using IT in the education. So sharing costs is not happened yet. Hopefully we can use this federation to as a key to helping them sharing courses amongst universities and organizations. Library access, yes, they have, but no sharing content. And at the moment in Laos, we are working on digital transformation, which is the government focus more on transform the documents and stuff into the digital. So many IT services are developing and deploying within the years and coming years. And yeah, we have the support from these communities. I would like to update more about the EduRoam update. This is we are running the national level of EduRoam, and we are on the map of EduRoam on 2020, which is quite late, with 3 service providers and IDP. We still need to work on the update of our websites and monitoring tools, because at the moment that monitoring tool is down, so we need to do something. Challenge for us, the directory that we are using at the moment for the EduRoam is just for EduRoam, but not for other services. Many members using the MySQL and Google Workspace for the common services in the universities. So for the collaboration amongst us, learned and the communities, we have quite a strong relationship with many NRENs. We attended and enjoy the projects with them. Currently, we have 6 projects that we are working on, and there is many are nearly complete within the year. Upcoming activities, yeah, we are working on making a master plan to establish a learned as official organizations. As you can see me walking around and discussing with many to NRENs to get some information for our seminars, and then working on master plan. We maybe a few months, next few months, we would have a seminars, and my send invitation for NRENs. Maybe you guys can help us explain more about the importance of NRENs in the country. So yeah, that's all about learning. Thank you very much.
We'll get you back. I need to see if I can record a testimonial, right? Can you get a slide up that says, where is... Because I want to slide... I like the, we don't yet have a federation, but we're learning from TFIM, I think is like an ideal thing to say. So let me have a look. How do I import stuff? Maybe I'll just record stuff with my camera and work out how to do it later. Video. Aha. So come step in front of this. Light. Yeah, maybe come really close so you're not in the direct light, maybe. Can we take a break actually? This works. You want me to continue with it? Just say, Laos doesn't have an identity federation yet, but we're learning from TFIM.
Yeah, at the moment, now doesn't have an identity federation. We would love to have federation like many of the area. This and workshops help me a lot to get to know the ideas of federation, to show federation.
Excellent. All right. That's in the can. That'll be part of our.
Okay. Now we're going to have an update from Gakunin. How are we going for time? Are we almost at break? Now we're... yeah, can you come up and give a presentation, because we haven't heard from the Japanese for some time. Unless, oh no, got your adapter? Where did the cable go? Here's the... Yeah. Thank you.
So, good morning. So I'd like to talk about Gakunin update. I'm Eisak Sakane from National Institute of Informatics in Japan. So my presentation include the update of Gakunin and UPK and EDROM JP. And this slide shows the Gakunin statistics. Currently, we have about 277 identity providers, and we have about 200 service providers. And I'd like to talk about necessity for a new trust framework in Japan. So far, Gakunin has provided a stable trust framework to academia in Japan. So it works well for common services, for example, electric journals. But there are many research communities in Japan. For example, HPCI, high performance computing infrastructure, and material science and open science. So, but these research community, unfortunately, don't always rely on IDPs in Gakunin. So, because all Gakunin IDP do not satisfy the requirement of the communities. So, in this sense, Gakunin currently doesn't work well for services provided research communities. So as a result, currently a trust framework has been formed in each research community. For example, HPCI created an operation policy and operate authentication and authorization policy according to IGTF, Interoperable Global Trust Federation. So, but many of users in the research communities in Japan are also constituent member of IDPs that join Gakunin. So that is in this situation, for example, a researcher has two account for identity provider operated by home organization or home university, and accounts are provided by research communities. So it is natural for users to demand to use home organization account for service in the research communities. For example, if a user can access HPC resources, so it is natural for users to use credential provided by home university to access other research services. So in other words, so users should want to manage several accounts. So in order to solve the situation, we launched a new working group in Gakunin in fiscal year 2021. So the goal of the working group is to build a new trust framework focused on identification and authentication. A new trust framework should be used for research communities in Japan. So this mentioned in our previous slide. And also, this new trust framework enables to collaborate business sector. And also, new trust framework can promote international collaboration. And finally, so new trust framework can ensure worldwide interoperability. So I'd like to talk about request for research community concretely. So the research community in Japan wants to the following. So first, research community wants to authenticate users that don't have a suitable IDP account. And this means that users that research communities offer the services not always possess the account of an IDP joining Gakunin. And research communities want to rely on identity providers that provide sufficient identity assurance. And second, grasping authentication level. So research communities want to grasp authenticator level. For example, so password only or multi-factor authentication. For certain services, so RC wants to users to impose multi-factor authentication. This is the next. So identification user that belongs to several organizations. So research community in some situations, so research community so need to identify some user that belongs to several organizations. So and in this situation, user belongs university A and also as well as the institution X. And in such case, research community wants to identify such users. The next, research community wants to ensure user identity moving between different organizations. So I think that this is a very important issue. So SP wants to provide continuously and efficiently services to the user moving between different organizations. So for example, from National Institute of Informatics to moving to some universities. Finally, research community wants to support for suitable attribute for purposes. For example, grasping whether resident or not, because of, for example, export control. And this slide shows key components in new Gakunin Trust Framework. So currently, the 5 project is now developing. So first, Gakunin identity assurance level and authentication assurance level that stipulate IAL and AAL for Gakunin. Second, authenticator registry, and which evaluate existing authenticators based on Gakunin AAL. And next, authentication proxy service called Orotros. And this proxy services support assurance level matching, credential bridging, and some attributes coordination. Next, IDP hosting service, and which address issues of IDP building and operation. Finally, so advanced group management, which support for high and complex authorization control. And I'd like to talk about the Gakunin IAL2 and AL2 in briefly. And the results of the working group for the next generation of IAM Federation. So proposal, we have a proposal operation policy of IAL2 in the next generation of Gakunin. And this document this wrote in Japanese and also English, and also we provided a credential policy and credential practice statement sample. And this document wrote in Japanese and also English, and these documents are available from such URLs. And we are currently asking for a review for the stakeholders in Japan, so RIKEN, NIMS, and RCOS and HPCI. And also we are checking the interoperability with existing trust frameworks such as the REFEDS and IGTF. And finally, we are conducting experiment in the implementation of a new trust framework and evaluation the results. And in the sub-working group, in the next generation working group. And I'd like to talk about authentication registry. This the purpose of this authentication registry is to evaluate authenticators based on Gakunin AL and publish the results and promote multi-factor authentication support for identity providers of university and research institutions. So in this fiscal year, we formulated authenticator evaluation criteria in document, and also we established authenticator registration operation system. So next fiscal year, well, we plan to start trial operation, and first first we try to evaluate Microsoft Authenticator and Google Authenticator, and next some authenticator will be evaluated. And the next authentication proxy service Orthros. This service supports for new Gakunin trust framework. And Orthros can bridge between identity providers and service providers, and enables AL management and some attribute assurance. So in this fiscal year, we prepared migration from OpenIDP, which is developed by operated by NII, and support some users whose organizations does not join Gakunin yet. And we developed the system and the procedures for production level operation. So in next fiscal year, we plan to migrate OpenIDP users to this new Orthros services. And we plan to link, we plan to proceed the external identity linkage. For example, GBIS ID, which is identity infrastructure operated by Japanese government, and some social network services such as Twitter, Facebook, and some account, Yahoo service, and Line services. And also, we will support for new Gakunin policy, and Orthros will support for enhancement of authorization attribute handling. And so next, IDP hosting services. So we think that future vision of Gakunin is as follows. All university and research institutes nationwide should participate in Gakunin. And because fundamental ID infrastructure for researchers and these university and research institute is a fundamental ID infrastructure for researchers and students. So, and this services is research and development for supporting the diversification of operation modes and improving operation efficiency. So, next fiscal year, we plan to demonstrate experiment and some about 10 university and institution join. So first demonstrative experiment. So now evaluate these services. So next. UPK certification services briefly. So current participants are like that, and this the services support about 500 domains. So and UPK certification services support the following types of certificate. Organization validation service certificate and client OSM certificate and currently code signing certificate and certificate and EV server certificate provided by a separate CA from CA that issued above. So and we are, as you know, so code baseline requirement for code signing certificate provided by CA Browser Forum has been published. So baseline requirements for code signing certificate impose more strict protection of private key. So we are now discussing and considering support for baseline requirements for code signing certificate, and actually including stop issue this code signing certificate, and now we are discussing baseline requirement support for code signing certificate. And finally, so I'd like to mention IDLMJP. So current participants are about 400 organizations and supported, and we have the following IDP services. First, IDLMJP federated ID services, which EDROM accounts issue, which issue EDROM account with Gakunin IDP. That's this services acts a bridging system from some credential to EDROM credentials. And also we have delegated authentication system, which is EDROM IDP hosting services. So currently we plan to integrated integrated IDLMJP federated ID services with delegated authentication system in next fiscal year. And also we are developing support for open roaming and Passpoint, and we are preparing to operate an open roaming hub, actually gateway in EDROM-JP. So as you know, so open roaming uses LADASEC technology. So currently we plan to contact issue certificate for LADASEC from edrom.org. And that's all. We have introduced the topic of the following project. If you are interested in the above project, please contact me or visit such URL. Thank you for your attention.
12 minutes for morning tea. Is that correct?
That is, unfortunately, yes.
11. So we can be back promptly at 11. We'll get into the next session, which is
issues around federation, then we continue after that with some more federation updates.
Maintaining the institutional education services. We have no public sports in Sri Lanka, but we do all other things in education in Sri Lanka. And when we are talking about the layoff, like federated like federation, almost like many people have gone from Sri Lanka, and new people are appointed to these spots. So we are having a training in next week. Next week means 27 to 31st. Like last time, Brooke and Terry joined for the Shibboleth SP workshop, and this time actually we are gonna do like the initial, like what's the edu ID and all the things on, and gonna explain the components to the people, because the people now working in the institutes, learn member institutes, they are new guys. So we are gonna do 5-day workshop and a physical one. And actually it was gonna be in this week, but because of the APAN and some configurations on the test bed, so we had to postpone that. So we are gonna do that. In there, we are gonna do the update, like we are gonna update the SPs, their IDPs for version 4. And also we will have some interns for testing, like we have to get many services on our federation, and also the monitoring service, because we have no proper monitoring service for IDPs and all. So we are gonna do some testings with our interns. Let's see how that's gonna be. And also, if actually I like to do open invitation, like for the workshop, if anyone wants to and anyone have an idea for our IDP members, like the members in workshop, if you have any suggestions, you are so welcome to contact with us, because we can arrange some online session for them. And that's all. Thank you.
And presumably later in the week, bigger news about Sri Lanka. Yeah. Disappointing that the public operator would shut it down in COVID, right? Which would be that was the exact opposite reaction to most other operators. I think HEANet did a lot of work to actually move campus access points outside and shield them to make car park and open spaces actually EduRoam hotspots, so that people that didn't have high-speed connectivity could still get connectivity for for everything they needed to do. Yeah. Thank you.
Dancing.
Something wrong?
It's the second one.
You're the second one?
Usually the problem with the mic is here, it's in USB-C.
Okay.
First one is somehow quite problematic. Usually just change it to the second.
Better for charging, so draw power over the same.
Really?
Sometimes it happens like that, but I just do it many times.
So do you have like the other connector? Maybe it's not. You see. Jeez. Okay, hello everyone. Today I would like to update the Thai Identity Federations. All right, so my name is Wittawat actually I'm from the university part, and today I have a chance to present you about the update, right? Okay, right now, the short update for the Thai rent, we already joined the Educate, and we are now reaching about the something of the EBSEO and the other potential service providers, all right? And we have an international workshop in Thailand, all right? In this workshop, right here, as you can see in the picture, in this workshop, we teach the user, like, oops, right here. Yeah, this is the outline that we teach them. We teach them how can we install the identity provider and the service provider and connect to the Thai identity federations. All right. So yeah, as you can see here, the federation setting and also the the identity provider. How can we install? We teach them, and anyway, hopefully we can get some customer to join to the Identity Federation of the Thai. All right, this is what we are doing. Okay, right now I don't have much update. As you can see here, we have two of the service like website, the support desk, the federation status, and the service catalog. And we also provide how to join the federation, like about us, how to join the list of the IDP and the service provider. Okay, we are doing some presentation and training, as you can see in the workshop that I show you. Right now, we have only 2 identity providers. It's not so much, and we have only 1 service provider, which is just a pilot service provider that we use Zoom to like provide the user that they don't need to create the account for each university. They can use their own identity provider and then join to the service provider. This is just like a pilot for us. All right. The problem for us is in Thai, many services we buy it, like each university buy the service by their own. We don't have like the policy for the ministry that okay, we will buy this stuff of them and then send it to some university. We cannot do that. That is a problem. So it's quite hard for us to create a killer application so someone can join to the federations. But anyway, after I joined this workshop, I have seen so many ideas from you guys is that we can have some the killer application. So I will tell to my boss. So yeah, we can do it better in a better way of how can we create a service, right? Okay, about the EduRoam, right now we have about 10 staff, and we have 84 organizations, the universities. Okay, we have, yeah, this is just some statistic about the top identity provider and the service provider. As you can see here, we have about 70K unique device and about 50K unique user for 2022. Okay, this is the comparing between the Thai user and the foreigner user. As you can see, some of the foreigner users use our service as a service provider right here, as you can see. Okay, the good thing is when you count the number of the user is increasing every month, as you can see in this slide. which is good for me and for us. All right, so we can expand the community of the Ethereum things. Okay, this is about the user accounts as well in the term of the identity providers. Okay, some of the university. This is my university. About the third one. Okay, I think that's all. Okay, of the short update of the Thai federations. Thank you.
Generated this graph manually or some software for this?
Some software. Let me show you. Yeah, we use the Hibana things like, okay, like this. And yeah, just a simple one, like if you want to, yeah, it's a Kibana. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Elastic.
Yeah, elastic. Yeah.
So your source of the data is from the Ethereum ethics.
I'm not sure about the technical. I have to ask my work teams. Sorry. Yeah.
Your monitoring NMS is also very interesting, and could you show this because we want to deploy similar something. Because right now we also have 90+ universities in our country, but we are not able to fetch these statistics that how many users are coming and on daily basis, weekly, and so it's very interesting that
there are two ways. Number one, either you can ask to IDP to send the ethics to your server, or of course, because if there's a roaming, you go to the NRO, then you can tap from the NRO.
We send ethics to the NRO, meaning the main monitoring, the monitor.edu.
You can split one.
Okay.
But it doesn't work if the organization using SSID and the roaming within the organization not crossing. Because as NRO, usually you only care about the crossing, not within.
Okay, anyway, we can talk to you later and we can, okay. That's all of my update, short update.
What radius server do you use in universities? NPS or free radius or some other?
Free radius. Yeah. Thank you.